And we are live. This is Jorge Prospector of the Prospect Chase Box, joined by none other than Prospector Ron. How are
Hey,
you, Ron?
happy day, everyone. Good day for baseball. Coming
Good day.
close
Very close.
next
A
week.
week now or less.
1 week.
We got a preview with the Dodgers beating up on the Cubbies. We'll talk about that a little more during this show. We are on episode 85. Who would have thunk it?
Hard
85
to believe
of
it.
Coffee and Rip, our weekly yap about baseball hobby news, tops, our weekly complaining about the hobby. Um, the hobby never disappoints, always a good source of good stories, but disappointments too. This week is no exception. I've got, I'm so excited to talk about so many topics we've got going on in this episode, but we will finish this episode, or at least use a big portion of the episode to talk about our MLB predictions.
I've got mine. I'm ready.
This is one episode that I always look forward to during the year because it's always good to do it and then come back and see how far off we were or what did we actually hit on. So I'm excited for that. I believe we should start with some hobby shenanigans. I'll have Ron start with some hobby releases that are coming up.
Well, we've got a couple things coming to the plate for this next week. One of the releases from Tops will be the 2025 Tops Tribute. Now that's a pricey product. It's a high end product. Basically, you're getting three autos and three relics or combinations thereof within a box. So it's probably going to be a $500 product, I would imagine. You know, probably for that. But it releases on Monday. Cops has it up on their site right now. But the real one that we're actually really excited about and waiting for is the Heritage High number stuff that's coming out at on the 26th. So it's scheduled for the 26th. I haven't seen any other comments about it from Tops. They haven't been pushing it, but it's one with the rookie class from 2024. So this is a 2024 product. That's one thing to watch at this time of the year is what product year you're going to get. But 2024 Heritage High number is going to be loaded with that rookie class that has just been phenomenal. Something to keep your eye on. I know I'll be trying to get a box or two for myself. So imagine it'll sell out when it gets there. We've always had a lot of fun with the Heritage High number anyway.
Depending on rookie class, but yes.
Yeah, but even so, the product itself is a lot of fun. And that's one place where you can pull your real ones auto and get those red ink auto out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Worth a gold mine. So something to look forward to for next week for a change. A couple products coming out. Not like this week there wasn't anything but Tops Now coming at us. So we did buy in on one of them, but the rest of them, it's become an expensive gamble.
Yeah,
at $12 a card. So
we'd also be remiss if we didn't talk about what we during our last episode, which I believe came out on Friday of last week, if I'm not mistaken, Thursday or Friday of last week. We talked about how, at least I was very surprised that Topps hadn't come out yet with their road to opening day team sets, because they were going to be sort of cannibalizing. If they waited too long, they would be cannibalizing on their Japan drops and sets. And lo and behold, probably a few hours after we talked, or the day after, I think it was, they finally released the 2025 RTOD sets. To the surprise and disappointment of many, although we were not really surprised by it, us in our internal group. If you want to join the amazing internal group we have at the Prospect Case Box, please drop me a comment. Be more than happy to extend you an invitation. We share a lot of good knowledge that we hear about stuff in the market. We were not surprised when the price came out. Topps went to town and essentially bumped up the price of the not the team. Well, the team says they did increase the price maybe by $5 or $10. They also made a difference. I believe, I could be mistaken on this, but I believe that last year's sets were all priced equally. Maybe I'm wrong on that. This year, there were some teams that were more expensive than others, and other teams, and some teams had a lot more. Like some teams, like the Yankees and the Dodgers, same as years past, they have a lot more parallel subjects, so it's tougher to hit on the parallel of the player that you like. But that's not what I want to comment. They always do the team sets, but they also do, at least as of some years back to the present, they do an autograph, a surprise autograph pack, which has an auto. The checklist, I imagine, is somewhat not huge, not small. It is what it is. It's probably 80% of it is probably really good players that you wouldn't mind getting an auto off. Yeah, you're gonna have your Sonny Gray or your whatever that you're like, okay, whatever, that you're going to lose money on and not be as valuable. In addition to that, you get one parallel card and random. Give me 1 second. I think I may have left the gas on.
Well, what he was talking about is that particular set had an 8-card set with it. You get the one auto in the set. It was $175 a package. It was one of the options that you could do with that set was use your Topps Now points to be able to purchase that and knock your price down from $175 to $135.
I'm back.
More reasonable.
Crisis fire averted. No, I just saw like the knob. I'm like, wait, did I turn that off all the way? So I just had to double check. I was getting at, the parallel and then the 8 random base cards. The thing is, they bumped the price. Last year, that product was $130 something. This year, they increased it by $50 or $45 or $50, which I think it's nuts because the checklist is not that much better. And it's not like they included an extra nothing. They literally just increased the price. I want to say I heard someone come out with online with not an explanation. I don't know if it is. I don't know if they asked Topps about it or something. But I heard that it had something to do with it wasn't availability at the site of the manufacturing side, or cost. I imagine it has to do something with costs, with inflation and with costs going up. But I think they also mentioned, I know what it was. They also mentioned the fact that they had in this release, they expedited the availability of the product. I think last year you would get it sometime like late April or May or something. Usually the autos and stuff. Yeah. And apparently they expedited or as their words for saying we spent more money getting these autos, back quicker. Meaning more people involved, yada yada yada, probably paying more with the agreement that they have now with the MLBPA. I'm sure that there are clauses as to when you need the product and how much I pay you if you give me the product back quicker, whatever, right? I imagine there's something to that. So they are essentially passing on all those costs to you. So that kind of sucked. And that honestly drew me away, probably you too, Ron, from buying a pack. Maybe you bought one.
I bought a pack with my rewards. But,
so that was one thing that Ron, go ahead.
Yeah. It is one autograph, 99 or less, one parallel, gold parallel numbered to 25, and then 8 additional road to opening day cards. So, it's
pricey. It's pricey. It's a pricey. It sucks that they went up. I understand if the product had gone up 20, even $25, but 50 to me it's a little much. Even if you're subsidizing it with Tops Now points. Last year, you could subsidize it with Tops Now points and get that product for like $90 or something like that. And so I'm a lot more comfortable with paying $100 for an auto, maybe 110, given the checklist of the auto checklist. But yeah, I wasn't. But I did. I just have fun with the team sets. That's to me where the fun is, because you can speculate as to what are the chances of getting a good parallel subject, the guy you want. Also speculating on the bonus cards. Also speculating on the teams that have rookies that will mean something. So we did our pre-release analysis, and we had determined that obviously that you should go first for the Nats. Because of Dylan Cruz having a card and James Wood having a rookie card too, and the Dodgers, because the Dodgers, even though everyone's a parallel subject, the Dodgers are going to sell out because of Shohei, mostly because Shohei gives a lot of opportunities for bonus cards. The Dodgers just do, right, with that loaded pitching staff. I believe this year, even though they did away with I think they did away with a complete shutout or a complete game. I think now it has to be a 15K or a complete game shutout. Is that what it is?
Let's see if we can. I don't remember the exact ones.
A no-hitter.
So you have a team player hits for the cycle.
Yeah.
3 home runs in a game. 15 Ks in a game. An individual throws a no-hitter or perfect game.
Yeah. So they did it last year. They also included complete games. So they did away with that. And so Tops is just trying to print less cards. That makes sense. But in regardless, so that our prediction came through. Like the only teams that were sold out the day after, or maybe that same day, probably the same day, were Dodgers and Nats. You can check out the print runs of each team, because not every team set is printed.
Well, the number of prints is based on the parallel number. A couple of the parallel numbers they bumped to 199. The rest of them are just limited to a 99 on the parallel. And then it's the number of subjects. So you're looking at the fact that a team like the Giants has 3 subjects on it. I think that comes to like a 580 card, 580 sets. Whereas the Dodgers have every single player of those 10 on there, and it comes to like 3,800 copies of the Dodger set. So
you can find out if you do your research on Twitter, X, whatever it's called. You can find out the print run of every team. Now, it's always fun to speculate. So it's always fun to do the analysis of who are the quote unquote crappy teams, or teams that have like almost nothing of value. Because the good thing about that is, and this is speculation, but based on it's not speculation. Oh, it's a little speculative, but it's also anecdotal. I believe that Topps prints out at least all the parallels, right? Makes them, and it is my speculation based on some anecdotal evidence that if a team, like if a White Sox, for example, that the print run is supposed to be
one parallel subject,
and so you can, I think it comes out to how many, like 300 or something sets?
388, I think is what it comes
to. My speculation, based again on anecdotal evidence, is that they may not print out all of them if they don't all get bought, but that at least the parallels get printed. And so what ends up happening to a lot of people that order those sets is that sometimes you get one, or Garrett, you get 2, or your chances of getting a number to 1 or to 10 or whatever are higher because you're competing with less people. So I think some people even got like 2 parallels in them because they just want to be good and just throw it in there. Because I do think they print those out earlier.
And there's a couple of teams, you look at like Kansas City, where it has Salvi Perez and Bobby Witt are your only 2 parallel subjects. So you're running a 50% chance of getting a Bobby Witt. With the Angels, it's Mike Trout and Caden Data. he's a rookie coming up with it. So you either get Trout or their rookie that's coming in.
The only team that tends to, so you probably, you and I did probably the same. You different than me. You also tried, you tried to get. I think you got the Yankees. This year I stayed for your friend, but this year I stayed away because I'm not really into Judge cards. I mean, yeah, he'll give you a few bonus cards maybe a year, but to me, it just comes down to like, where would I rather put my money in? And because I'm using some of this stuff to flip too. I'm using it for the bonus cards and for Dylan Cruz, but I'm not really like looking to get to retain these cards or whatever. So I bought two Nats, 2 Dodgers for Shohei, because Dodgers always give you. Last year they gave us like 5 bonus cards. And then I bought, who's the other guy that had a rookie or something that was good? I forget.
We were talking Boston earlier.
Yes, because the Roman Anthony possibility being called up. Yes. No, but I ended up getting, what was it? Was it Royals? What was
Royals
the
only sell me, but that gets you the new kid out there, Caglione.
I'm gonna look it up right now as we talk, because one of the teams I was struggling with whether to get or not was the Royals, because it would be mostly a play on Bobby Witt getting bonus cards, and obviously getting a what do you call it? Getting a Bobby Witt parallel, maybe
a bonus parallel plus maybe a bonus card along the way.
That was the only team that I debated.
Yeah, the other thing to note about this is if you had top Snell points, which I had a bunch banked, you can use the $40 coupon, and so the set ends up costing you. Well, they're charging $3 shipping now, so the set ends up costing you about $8 shipped. So that
I remembered.
Not a bad thing.
I remember. I have not. So we still have time, because whoever's watching this, I believe you got until, is it the 4th? You got a few weeks or something. I mean, you got until they sell out. But if Correct. They sell out, but I think they make the cutoff on the 4th or something of April.
So let's take a look here, and it's good until 4/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
correct.
The only team that I'm still debating whether to get or not, it's the Royals. Because of Bobby Witt, because I PC him of sorts, and so the other team I did get was the Mets, obviously, because I want to get Juan. So I imagine Juan Soto may give me a few bonus cards. I'm also a Mets fan, so I'm not looking forward to necessarily the parallels. I don't even know who they have. I imagine Juan Soto it's a parallel subject, but I don't think
they had several maybe? On there. So they had Soto, Alonso, Luis Angel, Acuna Jr., Lindor, and Kodai Senga. So not a bad.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, Pete's not going to give you a bonus card. Juan Soto may, Lindor may, Senga maybe. But he doesn't pitch long enough, because he pitches. He's a high count pitcher. Yeah. He usually is out by the 6th or 7th, and I don't see him striking out 15. But who knows? I mean, the card to get there, it's Pirates.
Yeah, well, the Pirates sold out today. So
they did?
So they did okay. But they also went with 4. They have 4 parallel subjects in their thing, which kind of makes it tough. So you have Skeens, of course, who everybody in the world is chasing, O'Neill Cruz, Andrew McCutchen, and David Bednar.
That's interesting. I had no idea it has sold out. Okay.
It just changed.
Because I was just thinking about it because of Skeens. Skeens will give you, Skeens has the possibility of giving you a few bonus cards per year. So I would just hate to get a David Bernard or McCutchen parallel. That would just suck. But yeah, so that happened. So we'll see what we get. Again, I got Nats, Dodgers, and Mets, and I'm happy with those. I may sell my Dodgers set. With Roki having a rookie card, base card, it may sell. I posted one on eBay pretty high, just in case someone, with the Japan craze, we can segue to that. So the Japan set happened.
Let's talk about that a little more in depth. So the Dodgers have two separate sets out there. You've got the base Road to Opening Day set that we all know and love, and you get the bonus cards with. And just like last year, they come out with a separate Japan version of the card, which has everything in kanji on the front of it. Now, the thing to know about this set is it's a print to order set, so it's not limited like the regular Dodger set is. It's print to order, so as many people as want to buy that, they can buy it up through. This one is extended till April 7th, so it's got a couple extra days on it as well. No bonus cards associated with it. No parallels associated with it, so you don't get parallels. You're just going to get this base 10 card set for $40, basically.
And the first time they did this, they may have caught a few Japanese and a hobbyist off guard and not know about it, yada yada yada, and maybe you were able to sell some pre-sale or after the fact, after the long window. But there's not much if unless you're Japanese or unless you just like the coolness of having kanji cards. It doesn't really hold much value because anyone that wants one can have one. Really, long window, and you get no bonus cards. To me is a big no. Of a buy, I don't think it's a good buy. But yeah, you have a Roki card.
We bought last year because we didn't catch the nuance of not getting the bonus cards, etc. Thinking this would be a great way.
We all would have gone an extra US one.
Hey, it would have been what if they printed the kanji bonus card? It would have been incredible. To wound up with one of those, but it didn't happen. So it's still got some time out there. If you're interested in it, it's a great way to use your Topps points since Topps points are limited to these kinds of products. So it's a good way to go. They've got a checklist out there. You can take a look and see the parallel subjects. Take a look at it. Open any of the sets, and the checklist is just one big checklist for the entire release. So you'll be able to see your team and see which parallel subjects. It's like, you're a Chicago White Sox fan. Guess what? You're getting a Lubov. That's the only parallel subject for that team.
Yeah.
So
to me, the way that Topps has increased the price of these, it makes it more of a tougher buy to spend $40-something plus tax on that type of speculation. So to me, it's not many of these are not worth it. But it is a product out there. Other than that, we've got
set
exactly,
and that is a Machado, Merrill, or Tatis. So it wasn't bad for guys. Yeah. I'll be happy with, but I'm happy that I got my Padres cards. So
absolutely. Other than that, it's still Series 1 for them until next week when they push out. Well, 25 is the only 25 product out there right now. Topps, Ron did comment on the 2024 Topps Heritage High Number coming out on the 26th. That should be a must-buy product. I believe it's been on pre-sale at all the distributor websites for a while now. I'm not sure if they sold out on pre-sale or not, but I did see it on David Adams and Steel City some time ago. I haven't checked, but it was available. It was available with the typical markup. But I think Topps, this shouldn't be a really pricey product. I believe it's one hobby box and it's one auto or a relic. That's usually the format of Heritage. Is hobby is a hobby format and blasters, but people don't. I don't even know if they're doing away with the blasters. Maybe not. Maybe they'll have them. But it's a one auto or
relic.
The autos are on card. I believe all of them. You're likely to get a relic. It's more likely to get a relic. But if you get a card, usually the checklist is not terrible. And the checklist, the regular checklist is really, really cool with Skeens and Churio and all the typical fellows. It will be a hot product and it will sell out. I think the price should hover around the $80 to $90 per box.
Yes.
on tops, just based on David Adams had it probably at 120 or something. So expect to get them. Expect them to have an after market value or resale market value of 120 to 130, something like that. At anything under $100 to me is a buy.
And here's an odd note. I just went to take a look at something. Looks like Cardboard Connection is back up and online. So after a few months of them not being around, they're saying that Hobby Box. Oh, that's a pre-sale Hobby Box somewhere at 229 right now.
No, that's insane. I don't think it was that high.
That's somebody reselling it.
Yeah,
obviously, it's an eBay.
But who knows? I think that there's serious upset at the beginning. People pay crazy prices, especially breakers. So it is typically not a breaker product just because it's a lot of base. So we've got that going for ourselves. One last thing I wanted to talk card wise is that we're obviously never devoid of any controversy. I just saw this morning that controversy about that allegedly Shohei refractor card being graded. But was it PSA or
no? That was through eBay authentication.
eBay. So
it came out of COMC. Yeah, check out my cards purchase that went to eBay for authentication and then back to the guy. Very interesting thing. He was commenting about it, and I let him know that, way back in the 80s when I worked as a bouncer, so you can tell by the size, but when I worked as a bouncer, I would see a lot of overlays like that
IDs?
On driver's license, adjusting people's birth years. Like, I've seen this before, but this was a card that was completely fake as a refractor.
Yeah, I mean, decently done. Obviously, it fooled someone on the. I think don't they use CSG, or I think they use a CSG for authentication or something like that.
I don't know. At one point, they had a deal with PSA, but
PSA, who knows?
But
it was unauthenticated. Was it an authenticated? But it was an authenticated slab because he did say he cracked it.
No, it wasn't a slab.
I think he said in the video that he cracked it.
No, it wasn't in the slab. I'll double check, but it wasn't in the slab. It was in the eBay authentication bag. And once you open that authentication bag, you void it. I don't know if you've seen it, but when eBay sends you stuff,
I know, and I've seen it. Yeah,
they'll have the little eBay authentication sticker.
You have no way unless you open it. No way of knowing. So
no way of knowing.
We'll see what eBay does about it.
Some of us see that one's
nice. So we'll see. The hobby's always devoid of like scummy. I mean, it always has scumminess in it. So it's just very disheartening to see something like that. Hopefully, he didn't pay the moon, and hopefully, eBay makes him whole somehow or partially. But that's what you get in the hobby.
One of the other things you're going to want to talk about with releases that they've talked about bringing in another series back that we thought was gone.
Yes, that's the last topic card-wise that we want to talk about. So there are rumblings, unverified, but you know how it is. Some people on the interwebs alleged to have an inside knowledge or inside guy that knows something or seen something. So the word on the street for us that are Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary fans is that this is a product that's 2 years delayed. So the newest version would be 2024. It's slated. So the 2024 version of Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary is slated to be the design is reminiscing of the 1955 Topps set, which is the first ever horizontal set that Topps produced. So it would be the first horizontal execution of the TCPA release. And so some people are excited about it because it has a huge following. Some people are bummed because they don't like the horizontal. I'm on the latter. I'm not a big fan of the horizontal design, but I'd be interested in looking.
And the rookie class is strong. So, not having done the 2023 class.
Yeah,
I'm not upset by that.
Yeah. I mean, so the news is that for many months, people have been speculating that even though this product is obviously notoriously delayed, it always comes out almost a year after. There were rumblings with Fanatics that they were going to chop it. They were going to do away with it, and especially not hearing any news about it for so long. This being 2024, people had already given up on it. I saw somewhere there's rumors online that someone has seen digital prints and that it's supposedly on the digital creation, whatever phase, and that the projection was that they were going to print it and that it was going to be somewhere released sometime in August of this year, making it almost a 2026 product.
Yeah.
Which is the crazy part about it. But just throwing that out there, that if you were and still are a big Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary fan, your hopes may have been, your prayers may have been answered, and the set is allegedly still going to happen. It's just going to be released, 4 months or 5 months from now, whenever that is. So that's all I have.
Well, and that kind of takes us into, we had such a great class of the 2024 folks out there. That rookie class is gone, but what are we looking at for 2025 rookies and stuff going in? What products would people really buy into? We're looking right now the fact that a lot of the prices on the draft product have been down because there isn't the strong currency, but we're starting to see a change in that. So keep your eye on the 2024 Bowman draft product. It's something that I think is going to make a turnaround this year as you see some of these prospects start making an impact across the league. So keep your eyes open on that product as we go forward.
Keep your eye open because we have also determined on the prospect chase box to include it.
We
exclusive.
We bought it below retail, which is quite a thing to be able to get our hands on a box.
It's an expensive product. It's in the 4s going into the 5s. A product at the jumbo hobby level, which is the one that has 3 autos. But we decided here, you're hearing it here first, we have decided to include that jumbo pack on our next monthly box. So stay tuned for that. 3 autos. And to Ron's point, the product had been somewhat stagnant for a little bit, but now that Jake Caglione, whatever the name that guy is with the Royals, he has first Bowman Chromes and parallels in that release. So
and his stock is rising.
His stock, I think, is it Cade or Cam Smith? He went to he was a Cubs prospect, big time prospect, first round prospect, and he was sent to the Astros on the Kyle Tucker trade. So he seems to be doing well, and there's hopes and maybe reasonable expectations that he may break camp with the team. He will make the roster, so that makes the Houston an RTOD maybe purchase if they haven't been sold out. He seems to be decent. I forget who the comp player-wise was, but he seems to have decent power and hits the ball hard. But the Jake or Jack Caglione guy, he was deemed the U.S. version of Shohei for a while because he has that type of power. However, I believe they're shutting him down on the pitching. I think that's going to die, and it's going to be mostly him as a position player. But he has ridiculous power. He's a grown man with a shoe size 19 or something. Crazy. So a lot of people are speculating or thinking. I think there's a lot of speculators. That box price, the hobby box price is increasing. So we want to throw it in there because we think it's going to be a hot product.
Absolutely, one of the ones that we are long on. Be something to be long. So
we also gonna. I mean, I might as well say it. We've told some of our insiders, some of our PCB reserve members. We're also going to throw in a 2018 Bowman blaster pack, because that is also a very hot product, because that retail version is the only available retail product, 2018 retail product that has Shohei rookie autos live coming out of it. Not expired redemptions, live.
Live on card. The 10-year rule that Topps put into place with their buyback, or with their redemption program, only extends back to 2020. So products prior to 2020,
in 2021, I think it was either 2020 or 2021.
2020.
Maybe.
That's why I still have some 2020 unopened on my shelf back
so there. Just stay tuned for that, because we think it's gonna be good. You're looking at retail green exclusives, which can be paper, which can be chrome. I don't know if he has a paper auto. Maybe, I'm not sure. Those tend to be stickers sometimes. But if so Mike, I haven't dug that deep, but if I had to guess, he definitely has green parallels, but it's most likely that his autos are green chrome on card, and those are on card. So it's a beautiful card. It's the only live product still out there that you can actually hit. Rookie auto. You can find other Shohei autos, but rookie autos, the majority of them were, especially the chromes, the majority of them were redemptions. And I imagine if there's a random chrome card here or there, it's a hobby and it's going to cost you an eye to get one. If it's live, I don't know, but I know before I interrupt. Let me say one more thing. I do know for a fact that the rookie chrome auto of his was redemption, I think. So I don't think those are live, the rookie chrome ones. So the tops.
Well, now the hard part of the show is starting to talk about baseball. Baseball opening day. The baseball opening day is next week. I don't care that the Dodgers already played the Cubs. That was not opening day. That was, like the Padres playing last year against the Dodgers in Seoul with the Seoul series. Well, it's an opening day. It's kind of a preview to the season. So here we are. We're sitting here. We're looking across the teams right now, trying to figure out what the heck's going to happen. I've watched my Padres actually have really crappy spring training, but spring training doesn't mean a thing.
It doesn't.
It's just a chance for guys to get their at-bats and get their innings in pitching. So, work on your pitch counts, get your arm back in shape, work on your hitting, your timing, getting guys together, getting them back in sync. So
where do you want to start? NL? National League?
We can start at the National League. Let's go east to west.
Let's go east to west.
Yep, National League East. I made some notes here for myself, but National League East and my friend Jorge is not going to like this. The prospector's not going to like the fact that I've got the Braves winning that. They've actually gone out and done a lot of things in the offseason here, not concentrating on a single player, big money contract. They've spread the money out, picked up several players, several option players, etc., putting themselves in position for taking that division, in my opinion. The Phillies are still going to be strong. They didn't change a lot. Phillies are going to be strong, so that's my number 2 in that, followed by the Mets. So that was how I put it. Mets, I think, will come in third in that division, but I think the Phillies haven't done enough changing to slow down that machine that they're running over there, and the Braves have definitely improved. If Acuna can stay healthy, even when he hasn't stayed healthy, they've done good. But I think if he stays healthy this year, they'll take that division outright.
Are we talking about wild cards now or later?
Later.
Okay.
We'll get our divisions, how we finish out, and then we can take the conference.
Okay. Prospector takes. So I've got a prediction, and I've also got a hot take I want to throw in here. So my easy take, my cold take, is that the bottom 2 teams are going to be the bottom 2 teams. I think Washington will finish 4th. I think they'll be a little bit better not sufficiently enough than last year. It's still a growing year. They will, make some improvements, especially if they call up some of their other young dudes. I think they'll make a difference. But they haven't made enough. Otherwise, changes or improvements to merit anything better than fourth. I've got the Marlins finishing last. The Marlins have a 20-something million payroll, which is insane. I think there's a grievance that was filed already or is about to be filed with the league, regarding, their use of rev share, revenue share payments, and not doing anything with their payroll. I think there are some earmarks. Not sure if there are on the CBA, but at least there's some guidelines of where you should be at. I want to say that the guideline, and I'm saying guideline because I'm not sure it's in the actual agreement. So I think that the guidance is that teams have to spend at least 1.5 times what they get in rev share payments, and the Marlins are sitting at like 20-something million. So that's crazy. So that's the easy part. Now, I agree with you that the Braves should be the favorites to win the division. They have a really solid roster as it is without Acuna. And I think a healthy Acuna would just propel them. Now, do I think they win more than 95 games? I'm not sure.
Not in that division.
I think that's a division that's going to be won with 92, 93 wins, very similar to last year's.
Yeah.
And so if Acuna, the thing with the Braves is they have a really good roster like last year. I think that their new young pitchers like that Schwalbenbach or whatever his name is, I think he's a dark horse candidate for having a really good season. And I think he has the tools to be a number 2 starter.
Yeah.
So he could help them. And they have other pieces that are good. They have a decent bullpen.
Strider is solid.
And Strider is solid. Now he's always an injury concern. Again, you never know. They did lose Max Fried, so there have been some additions, but there's also been some subtractions. That's why I don't think it's a team that runs away with it. I think it's a team that, if I had to, gun to the head, I would pick them as division winners, but not by a lot. I'm saying maybe 1 or 2 games. Now, second place, this is where my hot take is. I'm putting the Mets being second place, and that segue very close to the Braves, competing with the Braves neck and neck to the end for the division title and possibly winning it. I have the Mets being so close to the Braves like last year that they could be in a position to win it. The division, I mean. My hot take has to do with the fact, and I think I've told you this before, so it may not be a hot take for you, but I do think that we start, contrary to what other people say, that Phillies rosters are stacked. They'll be good. Last year was an aberration. They won a bunch of games. They should have been on. They should have won the division. Yada yada yada. They should have gotten longer. They should have been longer to play. They should have made a longer run in the playoffs. I think this is the year that you start seeing a decline on the Phillies. They're a good team. They're a good team. I'm not saying that. And they will make the playoffs. We'll talk about that later. But I do think this is the beginning of the end for this current wave.
Yeah.
I think they're getting older. I don't think they've made enough improvements in terms of bringing young people up. I think this is a year that they start showing a little bit of the decline. I'm not saying they're going to win 84 games, but I think they barely get into the playoffs, and I think they make an early exit again. That's my take. I don't think they're so I guess my hot take is, I'm not sure how hot it is, but it's more like I don't think they're the powerhouse with a deep run threat that many people think that they are. I think Christopher Sanchez has the potential to become a really good number 2 starter. So they've got pitchers. Obviously, Nola, if he keeps improving. But Nola's also getting older. Wheeler is solid. He's also starting to get up in the mid-30s. So they're not young puppies no more. And when I say that, I'm talking about performance, but I'm also talking about potential injury risk. So that's my take. Now I'll be the first. I'll take Central first. The wife is calling me, but it may not be important if she's not calling again. Central. Okay. So I always like to start bottom up. I have the Cardinals as the bottom dweller. I think they're the weakest of them all. However, this division is going to be way better than people think. I feel that the other 4 teams, I can see a path. All 4 of those remaining teams, I can see a path to them making the playoffs. Obviously, the division winner does, but I can see a path for the other groups. However, I do think that you got to cut it at some point. I do think that the cream of the crop, division winner is going to be the Milwaukee Brewers.
I agree 100%.
They just have the talent. Churio is going to be a perennial star. They're young. They're exciting. They got pitching. They don't have a ridiculously great team, and they've lost some pieces. They lost their closer. They don't have Corbin Burns anymore. But I think what they have is enough to win this division. I think the Cubs will hang in there for a while. But I think ultimately they fall to 3rd place or 4th. I've got Pittsburgh Kings making a jump. However, I don't think they make the leapfrog that some people have them make. I think Pittsburgh finishes 3rd or 4th, depending on how the Cubs go, how the Cubs season go. If the Cubs have improved enough, then Pittsburgh ends up being 4th. My surprise team is the Reds. I think the Reds will gonna if the injury bug does not hit them, right? If they don't lose McClain again, if they don't lose Spear again for a long time, I think the Reds have the most upside in that division with a real chance of dethroning the Brewers. I think the Reds are going to be really good. I think a regularly healthy season has them finish 2nd or maybe beating the Brewers. I think they've got pitchers that are ready to become stars. I like Lodolo a lot. I like Abbott. I think he's a solid, serviceable 3. I think Hunter Green can become that ace and improve on that great season he had. He can take it up a notch.
If he stays healthy. Yep.
If he stays healthy. So that's my only caveat with the Reds. They've got a fantastic manager finally in Terry Francona. I love what he does to clubhouses. He wins everywhere. If everything, so I guess my take is if everything goes right for them, and they stay relatively healthy, and Green takes a step up, Ellie becomes what he can be, I think they can win that division or be very close to it. What do you think?
Well, let's go ahead and hit him here. I agree with you 100% on the Brewers. They showed a lot of moxie in the playoffs last year. They had no quit in them, and that was that core group of guys from an everyday player, not counting their pitching, that just kept at it. I was very impressed with what I saw with the Brewers. I have no disagreement there. My number 2 team, with the additional Kyle Tucker, is the Cubs. That improved him. The kid can hit. I've seen him just be a monster in his years with the Astros. I think that is a huge step up for them. Will make them a solid second in the league. I, much like you, put the Reds as number 3. You look at the fact that they went out and added, some oddball pieces like adding Gavin Lux. Why did you add Gavin Lux? Well, it's going to solidify some of the gaps they have in their infield. A guy who can play a couple positions for you. Is he going to play second?
Don't forget about it. Don't forget about yeah, go for it.
Well, is he going to play second when McLean is hurt, or is he going to play third? You don't know. You could fit him into a couple of different roles there, so that'll help them. You've got our McLean. He's going to have a better year this year after he lost most of last year. Let's see where that heads. And you have Christian Encarnacion Strand out there now, who is going to finally, hopefully, make a dent this year for them. Those are some of the players I'm looking at their team. Novella Marte still there. You've got sitting on the bench. You've got guys like that. So we'll see. The Reds definitely are on my list. You talked about Cards being last place. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm excited to see Mason Wynn play again this year. A full year, see how he does, see what he can turn around there. But they're hurting. The Pirates, I still have down as a they'll win every 5 games, win every 5 days when the rotation comes back around.
Yeah,
I don't have them jumping up quite as high as you, but I agree with where we're at on that team.
So you have the Pirates being bottom dwellers, or you got the Cardinals?
The Pirates being 4th.
Yeah. I mean, our only difference is that of opinion. The only difference of opinion, and it's not much of a difference of opinion, because I do have the Cubs being neck and neck there with everyone. I just feel that if there's someone that's going to have a little drop at the end, based on age, based on pitching, comparison to other teams, I feel that the Cubs would be that. I see the Cubs dropping from second to third more likely than them than the other way around. I don't think they have the pitching depth to sustain a whole 162. I could be wrong, but I think we're good because we've got. I think the Brewer and newsflash, regardless of if it's Cubs or Reds second, I don't see either of them making the playoffs, the postseason. So because of that, let's leave it there.
That's the weakest division.
It's a tough division. The East is too strong. The West is too strong for any team out of the West. Sorry, for any team from the Central to make the postseason, other than the wild card. So I guess my thing is I don't see any wild card team coming from the Central.
Yeah.
West. Let's head west.
Well,
let's see.
I have my take on the West.
Let's. I'll give you this. I'll just say this. We can take the Dodgers out of the equation because I mean, maybe this is a point of disagreement. I think we can take the Dodgers out of the equation because I think there's no way these MFers don't win 100 games.
They have
run away with the division.
They have loaded their pitching. Now, the only weak spot I've seen in their pitching is really inconsistent performances by Blake Snell. Really inconsistent. He started off last year with the Giants.
Too much of a pedigree.
Yeah, and he was running like a 9 ERA in the first 2 months of the season. Finally came around. So
I don't see it. Talk to me about any other things but the Dodgers.
Okay, well let's start. Rockies are going to be trailing and cleaning up at the bottom of the pile. They haven't done much to improve themselves. They've got a decent guys coming out of the farm system, but it's just not paying dividends for them right now. So I don't see the Rockies moving up anywhere. It's just a tough place for people to play. Followed right by the Giants. Now, the Giants are going to be improved on May 20th when we're at the game. So, watching Bobby and the Royals play. But outside of that, I don't see the Giants doing much of anything. They haven't done anything to improve, really, this offseason.
Really?
Yeah.
See how he does.
You've got your hometown heroes there too. So You've got things like that going on, but I'm not impressed with them. So as we're looking across the next two teams with the D-backs and the Padres, I'm a big Padre fan. I'm going to sit here and tell
That's
you.
where you make your money. In this bet right here, in this prediction is where you make your money.
Padres are going to be solid, this and that, but the Padres have not done what they needed to do to make it to back into second place in the division. The Diamondbacks have solid pitching. The Padres have iffy pitching right now. Darvish is nursing a little arm issues right now. You lost Joe Musgrove.
Who's he playing with now?
Pardon me?
Who's Musgrove?
His shoulder. He's coming done. Yeah, he's
done
out
for the season.
He's out. Yeah, end of last year. That he's gone this year. We won't see him at all. You didn't fill the outfield spot that was vacated by Profar. Profar had an unusual season. Wouldn't have expected that to repeat this year because it was 10 years he's had one great season. I wouldn't have expected another great season like that, but they never really did anything to fix that issue. Now, they picked up a couple of really odd pieces for that, and it's going to be an odd year for them, but I don't think they're going to get in front of the D-backs this year. The D-backs played solid all year. They kept right at it last year. They're going to be right back at it this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have the division exactly like you laid it out. The thing with the Padres to me is that it's funny to say this because they have a ridiculous payroll. I mean, not ridiculous. They're of the top 7 probably payroll. But even though you've got a top 7 payroll, I think this is for you a little bit of a. I don't know if there's a better word, but what's coming to my mind, what's coming to my head is transition. And by transition, I don't mean rebuilding. I mean that you've got about 1 or 2 or 3 really solid superstar potential prospects that are going to make the club within the next 2 years in DeVries and Salas. And there's another guy too I'm forgetting right now. And those guys will be huge components and contributors. I think that because you don't have anything else to fill that gap and to fill the loss of Profar, to fill the loss of your closer, the iffy injury status of few players.
One other huge hole is what they did at catcher or what they didn't do at catcher. They lost Higashioka, who was a fan favorite, and he really did perform for them this last year.
Yes.
They picked up the guy out of the Rockies last year, who was a solid all-star catcher at one point, but really hasn't done anything. So we're going to have to see what.
It's just one of those teams that you always know they have the potential to be like, oh my God, we're really good. We gelled and everything worked out, and we found someone that overperformed, and we found our new Profar, if you will, and surprise us. It can happen, but I wouldn't bet on it happening. I've got the D-backs with a more steady group, a steady young group. Yeah, they lost Christian Walker, but they have other pieces. I think Naylor, who they got from the Guardians, can make up, can compensate for losing Walker. They're similar profile players, performance-wise, so I don't think they lose much there in bringing in Naylor for Walker. I think Carroll is slated. Apparently Carroll is healthy again. His shoulder, which was very limiting his swing profile. I think he's back hitting the ball with high exit velocity, hitting the ball hard everywhere, spraying the ball everywhere with power. They've got really good pitching. So I do think now they're going to win 95 games. No, but I do have them competing for a wild card spot. So let's move on to wild cards then. I think it's safe to say that Phillies or Mets or Braves, any of those 3 teams, I think all of those 3 teams should make the playoffs.
I could see that being like the National League West last year, where they had 3 teams. That would be. I would see the Braves, Phillies.
I mean, it happened last year. All 3 teams made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it'll happen again with the second wild card.
Mets.
I see Cincinnati coming out of the Central. That's 4. And then I've got Arizona and the Dodgers. That's it. Those are your 6 teams.
Yeah, I would say the Phillies, Mets, Diamondbacks are going to be there.
Yeah, Arizona and Dodgers. That's it. The only thing that could change is if any team surprises us and debanks, dethrones that third NL East team.
Yeah,
like the Padres having a great season. So either the West or the East is going to have 3 teams in the playoffs. That's just it. There's no way the wild card team comes from the Central. There's no way.
No.
So let's move on to okay. So let's finish the NL. MVP winner. That's a tough one. I think you have to, and I'm not saying sorry. I shouldn't say MVP winner. I would say let's go top 3 or top 5 candidates. I got to put Juan Soto and Lindor in there.
Lindor had a great season last year. If he repeats what he did this year, he should be one of the contenders for it. No doubt.
I don't think there's anyone from the Central that can garner enough MVP votes.
No,
I mean, other than Skeens. I mean, I don't think he will give him. I don't think he will get. You think he will get MVP votes? I don't think so.
Well, the interesting thing is Merrill got a ton of MVP votes last year, and Skeens didn't. He was way ahead of him in MVP voting, but hey, Rookie of the Year.
But that's Central. So I'm trying to narrow it down, right? So Philly, Harper's always there. So I would throw Harper in the hat.
I think Harper's too injury prone.
Acuna, Shohei.
Yeah.
Carroll. Who else?
Well, it's not Carroll. It's Marte.
You think so?
Marte with the Diamondbacks, who's going to be he's really stepping up as the star of that team. So you look at Ketel Marte as being a solid MVP candidate.
You know what's funny, Ron? The fact that we just talked about 7 or 8 names that could very, very legitimately have a chance at an MVP run. That just shows you how strong this league is.
Yeah.
Now the East, because again, West. And listen, Shohei is a clear front runner for MVP. The rest are just vying for second. I think the only way Shohei does, honestly, and it saddens me to hear a little bit, but the only way that Shohei doesn't win MVP is that he gets injured.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, and when you talked earlier about Soto being an MVP candidate, personally, I think if he steps up his game in the outfield, it would really do it. But there's your conflict of things where you talk about Shohei only at DH, so he didn't play in the field, gets MVP, but you're taking points away from Soto for his play in the field. So
Let's see. I don't see Tatis. I mean, who knows if Tatis, what kind of season Tatis is going to have? He's finally healthy. But
he's looking really solid. But
Tatis injury, he's so injury prone. I think he's the equivalent. I think he's the National League's equivalent of Royce Lewis in the American League, who's amazing, OPS through the roof when he's injured, when he's healthy, which half of the time. When he's not healthy, when he's not injured. All right, let's move on to the AL because I see we're hitting on. We got on the out. We're hitting the.
Do you want to save the AL for an early show next week?
We could. Let's save it and let's rip some packs.
So
we're gonna save for you guys for our next episode, which we'll try to get in early next week so that we do it before the season starts. When does the season start? On Friday?
No, Friday next week. Yep.
Right. So we'll try to get it in early. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday if I'm not traveling and Ron's available. I'm
going to try and get working over here to see if I could do this.
I'll start. So a little plug before we start. Well, a little plug before Ron starts his rip and he sets up. A little plug. I am, in addition to announcing the Prospect Chase Box Monthly Volume 35 bucks next week, which we gave you a quick preview of two things it has. Before we do that, I am wrapping up a pack break event on Topps After Dark. Reach out if you're interested, and I'll send you the link. We are doing high stakes, not really, medium stakes gamble, doing pack breaks. We're ripping a 2022 Topps Chrome Logo Fractor box, which has two Logo Fractor packs, which usually pack a punch. These have really solid potential. They have O'Neal Cruz. They have the other folks from 2022. Plus, they have They have Duran with the Boston Red Sox. We haven't even talked about him because we didn't talk about the ALEs, but that's coming. We've got Jared Duran, and we've got image variations and autos, I believe, of Bobby Witt and Julio. So this is a floor because of its two logo fractor packs. Has enough of a high ceiling of a good floor to merit it ripping. So some folks will get as pack breaks. Some folks will get those two logo fractor packs. Some will get just the base 22 Chrome packs. But we're also ripping in the pack break a 2019 Bowman Mega Box. These have random autos here and there in these Mojo packs. But the chase here is Wander Franco. I'm kidding. The chase here is Julio. Julio has – there are other folks too that I always forget. But Julio has a first Bowman Chrome cards here. Mojos. They sell well. I think Julio is – we'll talk about it next week, but I think Julio is due for a comeback strong season. So doing that real quick, we're about almost half filled. You buy a spot, you buy a pack. Maybe you'll get a Logo Fractor pack, maybe you'll get a Mojo pack. Either way, it's a fun rip. All right. I don't know if Ron's ready or not, but I'm ready with my Shohei.
Go ahead and rip it.
50-50 pack. These are out. I should have brought the box. These are out of the 10 pack box. I know this is not loaded, but the fun thing about opening these packs, even though they're not the weight, it's not conducive to a Chrome. There are, and believe me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ron. I think the kanji parallels are base cards, right?
They're the same weight as the base cards.
So I'm just hoping I haven't seen a kanji card live.
The other bases that are included are anything 50 or higher.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So there's a couple other bases. 50 is a huge hit of home run or.
And those are regularly weight, like regular base?
Regular weight cards.
Okay. You never know. And I'm also building this set, so whatever base cards I get, I welcome. I've already got 3 duplicates that I'm trying to see if I can trade. Here we go. Man, these packs. All right, here we go. All right. Home run 31.
Let's go ahead and spotlight you here.
No kanji. Home run 37. Kanji?
Nope.
Dang it. Home run at least. No stolen bases. Home run 15. Stolen base. Wait. Oh, it's 5 of them. Never mind. Stolen base 17. Ooh, that's cool. 17 has a thing, right? Because it's 17 is number, I guess.
Well, you know, it
not really.
It is now. And there you go.
And stolen base 44. I have no idea if I have these cards, but honestly, I imagine that any numbered card, 17 sells for a lot, as well as 50 out of 50. But I don't know. Maybe 17 has also a following. Who knows?
Well, you just never know with that. Let's, I'm going to try and switch cameras here. So bear with me 1 second.
So no kanji for me, no kanji Shoheis, but a welcome base pack editions. Ooh, you pulled the keyboard.
Yeah, I'm showing you the keyboard right now. We're going to do this real quick here, and I'm going to go to just a single view here.
What are you ripping? A pack? A fatty?
I have got.
Is that a fatty?
It is a fat pack. If I can get the camera right on here, we're still working on this. So this is our just a little. You'll see yourself seeing yourself. I still don't have that quite right. Apologies. We're still working on amateur hour here. As
show me them pinks.
So let's go ahead and get this sucker open.
Give me a pink rookie.
And let's see what we can do here. Oh, flip it around here. And some of these came with some. So we have a Stroman. And
bring him down a little bit if you can. There we go.
Cody B.
Ellie?
Stuck to.
Nico. I see a rookie.
Yeah.
Who's that? Wells? Okay.
Austin Wells.
All right. I'm dying to see those pinks.
We'll get to them.
Is that a Juan Soto card? I think so.
There you go. There's your guy. In his Yankees glory.
Oh, Evan Carter. I like it.
We'll pull the one up. We'll wait on this. The funny thing about these things is they really stick.
They do.
There we go.
Maxie. Max. Is that a bow?
It's a bow.
Bernie Williams is a card there?
Yeah, so I may have got. You remember how these always come in packs? I wonder if I got a whole Yankees pack going here. Find out in a second.
I called dibs on that Bernie.
Okay.
If you don't want him.
That is the red refractor, so it's not the pink card. That's actually a red refractor. They're not numbered, but
I called dibs if you don't want it. Kerry Carpenter, is that a rookie?
It is not.
Okay.
Parker Meadows.
So you did not get a team pink set this time.
Craig Biggio and Jose
Ramirez. Interesting.
Little J Ram. So
okay, not a terrible pack.
Not a horrible pack.
Pretty good pack.
Not a horrible pack. So we'll go back here and we'll spotlight you while I jump back over here.
Yep. I can spot it. There we go. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll add you. Yeah, so folks, I think that's gonna be it. Thank you for spending here a good what is it? A minute and something? An hour and something with us
today.
Hour and 13. We really appreciate. If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, Prospect Chase Box, go ahead and smash that like button, comment, and that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be alerted when we go live or publish new content. We're going to be doing this again, second part of our predictions next week. Thanks for considering joining our stuff. Prospect Chase Box. Jorge Prospector is the Facebook handle. Also find us Jorge Prospector or Prospect Chase Box on Instagram. Where do we find you, Ron?
Well, you can also find Jorge Prospector on the Twitter.
On Twitter, X,
whatever you want to call it, and I'm there as well. You can find me at End Green Room, and you can find me on Facebook. So Those are my main platforms. Not too much on Instagram. I'm out there under Ron Hartley. If you take a look, you'll find me.
Yeah, stay tuned and let me know if you want in on this to be alerted on the new box. It's gonna rock your world. But until then, happy hunting, happy prospecting. This is Jorge Prospector for Ron. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.